Hello, my wonderful friends. It's, I think it's 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Never forget Wednesdays. Wednesday was the day Raven passed away. Wednesday, August 25th, 3:20 a.m., 2021. And just lighting some incense. My little incense burner. Yeah, I had a challenging day today and I didn't want to go into it much, and then I was reminded by a friend that didn't I say that I would be as transparent as possible for others to benefit from my process. And of course, when I was feeling shitty, I didn't want to splash shittiness all over everybody. So I guess I was hiding a little bit there. So it's hard to, I find it hard to be straightforward, honest with my feelings when they're difficult, because I feel like I'm complaining. And I think that's where I just have a hard time with my hard time. So, yeah, today was deep, heavy, a lot of inner stuff to work through. Externally, it's been raining all day. It's kind of dark, overcast. Not cold, but wet, chilly, I would say. So I guess it matched my mood, or it helped my mood. I don't know which. I know I get irritated. My system gets irritated when I smoke pot, so I almost don't smoke pot. I only vaporize certain concentrates which have, I don't know, certain organic matter removed, I guess, and it doesn't irritate me. Don't get as high, but I don't need to, and it's more just for nighttime to help me sleep and just coast through the night. Because otherwise I just have too many thoughts and I don't go into any, well, I don't go into any deep sleep anyways, but it's better. And a friend was by the other day, and someone else dropped by, so I smoked some joints with them. If I smoke a joint once in a blue moon, it's not such a bad thing. But I'm trying to stay off it just because of the mood I had today. Smoking the joints the night before might have helped make it worse. I don't know for sure. Mostly it takes my appetite away and stuff, and it just leaves me in a bit of a blasé state. So it could have been partly responsible. Also, I ate a lot late last night. I have a tendency, I'll vape a little bit, and then I'll get hungry, and then I'll eat like crazy. And I think that, well, I know that disturbs my sleep, but I think that also can contribute as well. So, got to start taking better care of myself. I'm eating enough. I'm eating well enough. I'm just not eating at the right times always. So there's my report on that. But yeah, I woke up very early this morning. Got up for a bit, maybe 3 o'clock. Processing Raven stuff only on a heavier level. And I was fine when I'm emotionally compromised like that. That's when all the negative thoughts are going to get in, if they get in. And that's a good point to make for everyone who's human, because if you're human, you'll go through this to some degree. Sometimes I hear noises and like drips, because it's raining out, and I just want to be sure it's a drip outside and not one inside. So where was I? Oh, I can't remember exactly what I was talking about, but I think I kind of finished my train of thought there. I definitely have my very difficult days. I can even see my smudges in my glasses from here. I definitely have my very difficult days. I won't lie. How are they difficult? I guess each day is different. I have some challenges that are actual real challenges, like getting ready for winter and things, and nothing ever gets done on time because there's just so many things to do. And a lot of people offer to help out. Do you need anything? Do you want anything? And I say, no, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I would do really well with 20 volunteers come out and help me just get a whole bunch of things done ready for winter. But I'm not going to ask because I just not something that I'm good at doing. If someone volunteers and it suits and fits the situation, like, I'm overjoyed to get help. One thing that I'm really, really gonna need, and I've got to start shopping for them, hopefully secondhand, is I need at least 3 doors. That's the main ones. 3 doors with frames built on, ideally taken out of a place that was being renovated or something. They are outside doors, so they're to keep the cold out, so they can't be flimsy doors. I mean, they don't have to be beautiful, but they've got to be a good door that's going to block the cold. One of them I'm putting on the back of the barn here, so that I can let my dogs in and out in the winter time without having to go all the way outside, get them, and bring them all the way around. And that's where I'll also keep their water plugged in to keep it from freezing. Another door is the door to the mudroom that I'm going to have built on the side beside the trailer. And that one will be important as well. And then I have a third door that I need for the tent that we were building for Raven to pass away in. And that's got to get finished, especially with all this rain. Like, there's basically 2 gaping holes on each side of it. So I want to try and finish that off before it gets destroyed by the weather. And other than that, I just got a shitload of stuff to do. I've got to build a chicken run on the outside of the chicken coop, so that, like, wintertime, the snow's just too much for them. So this little box with letting light in on the outside, but I wrap it in vapor barrier to stop snow and rain from getting in. That gives them a little outdoor space with light to hang out in the winter. So I've got to do that. I've got to get extension cords to run along the fence lines to where I'm going to have water for the dogs and water for the chickens, so I can have a little water heater to keep them from freezing the water. I need to really build up this little outdoor kitchen that I have on the barn, because I've only got stretched plastic stopping rain from hitting, but once it starts to snow and stuff, it's not going to be adequate. So I've got to build that as well. And I've got a ton of stuff to do in here, sorting out to just make more room for myself and the dogs when I don't want to be holed up in the trailer. So, it's a very small space. So there's, whenever it's a little bit warmish in the winter, and even when it's not, I'll take my dogs for a walk, and as I did every year, we'll sit in here in the barn with the dogs for a little bit until our dampness from being overheated running around gets to us, and then we would go home and warm up by the fire. Well, I'm damn tootin' hoping I'm going to have a nice fireplace wood stove to warm up by if I get chilly in here, which I will do, of course, with the dogs and stuff. But I will try and spend as much time in here as I can, like even wearing snow pants and a coat to be able to lounge around in here and the couch and stuff is fine by me. I just like to have that open space once in a while. And a space to share with the dogs, because it'll be cool enough for them to be comfortable, and I can adapt by wearing more clothes, whereas the trailer is just not going to happen. It's too small, they're too big. I won't be able to have them in there once or twice before all too soon the trailer will permanently be obvious that dogs have been in there. So I'm going to keep dogs out of there because I may want to sell the trailer down the road. The mudroom, if it works out really well, I might. That might be a possibility, a probability even. So there'll basically be me in the trailer, mudroom beside it, a outhouse beside that. So it's a little extra space that I can hop between. And then there will be, with some kitchen facilities there, and my tattoo studio. And then there's the barn, which will be basically this open space as tidy as I can make it, with a back door for the dogs to come in and hang out, because I really want to have much more time and space with them. Partly because I'm going to need it. It gets kind of lonely out here, and especially in the winter. But also, I love my dogs, and Raven and I both loved our dogs, and that's what I have left. One of the things that I have left, like physically and living and breathing, that Raven and I were completely integrally a part of. So whenever I'm with my dogs, I feel Raven right there. That's one of the best ways to get Raven with me, is to be with the dogs. So that's going to happen a lot. I also want to, I'm going to have once in a while clients. I always, things slow down in the winter. So I don't expect a lot of activity, but I do welcome people to visit, come for a coffee, come for a tea, come for a hot chocolate, whatever I'm able to provide at the time. I really, really do value and cherish my friends and their visits. You have no idea. I can't get across how important it is to me. I won't ask often. It's just not my style, but I do really love visits. I find them very healing. And frankly, being with Raven for 38 years, I didn't reach out as much. And now I feel the need to, because I don't have that anymore. And any of you who have been with someone and really, really emotionally close for even half that time will have a sense of it, of what I'm going through. It's not an easy thing, and I don't expect it to be, and I don't want it to be easy. The depth of relationship that Raven and I had, I know is rare. I know that. And the depth of my grieving is going to be equally as intense as the relationship and love that we had. That makes sense. But I do know that now is the most difficult time, because I'm not in a cozy home where I could just roast the fire and feel just cozy. I'm in an uncomfortable situation with the barn, and now that it's getting colder, and I will admit, especially wet, as soon as I go out and do stuff, I'm in damp clothes and no way of warming up unless I completely change again, let these dry out and so on. So I end up, getting damp. So once all that is cleared up and I have a small but warm place that I can heat up, I can keep dry, I'm going to be in a much better place. But I'm not shying away from where I'm at now. I'm not hiding from it. I'm not complaining. I feel like it's an important process, no different than the caterpillar turning into the butterfly there. I feel like these stages are important for me to experience and to open my heart to and feel, and not run from. And so that's just a little bit about what I'm going through today. I did wait, I will be honest, I did wait, talk to some people on the phone and that while I was feeling really emotional, really down. And I did wait till 10 o'clock when I felt a little more uplifted, or coming out of that funk, and I could talk a little clearer about it. Because no one wants to hear a blubbering person, and I probably would have blubbered a bit. So that's that. I did some drawings, some sketches of what I want done for the trailer, and I sent those off to Tim, and he's going to do an Illustrator version, so then I can send that to my builder, and hopefully that is going to get that in motion. And as soon as that's in motion, I'm going to feel a lot better. But I've got all these pending things, because I feel like I have to get that approved, Then I guess my builder is going to have to come by, do some measurements of his own. I'll have to know where the holes have to be dug for the posts. And then I've got to call my guy who does my fencing to see if he's able to do a bunch of post holes and possibly open up the space a little bit bigger for this little mud room building. It's kind of like a fishing hut in a way. So I've got that. I have a friend coming over to help me with building an outhouse on Friday, I think. Thursday, I am actually invited out to dinner. I'm very excited. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm almost feeling like I'm integrated. What else do I have? And then, I can't remember. October 2nd, whatever day that is. It's probably a Saturday. I've got to race to Mississauga and go to an event that all the extended family are having in memory of Raven. So I'm going to appear at that. Depending on how I'm feeling, I don't like the idea of leaving the dogs too long, and it just depends on the weather and everything else, but I'm going to intend to whip over to Destiny's, Raven's daughters, and hang out with them, the boys, Mark, and spend the night and then leave in the morning, come back. I think that's going to be my best bet. That's about all I have. I think I've pretty well painted my what I've got to do between now and feeling as ready as I can be anyways. I don't feel that concerned about water. I mean, I've got the dog. Won't have plants to water. I'll have the dogs and the chickens and me, and washing dishes and stuff. So less water needs than I had this summer. I can melt snow when I have a storage container for water that won't freeze, or even if it's cold, I can put a little heating element into the tank as well. So I have different options, and then I'll buy drinking water. That's not a problem. So once I have the mudroom, I think that mudroom I can fit some water in, or maybe have a separate insulation box for the water and have that outside, because that is a big box, big container, and then I don't use up so much in the mudroom. Because I do need to be able to put coats and boots and a wood stove. So kind of visualizing this as I'm saying it. It's going to be a roof, like a carport over the trailer. That'll make it keeping it safe from snow load and stuff much better. Feels nice, actually. I'm feeling much better just talking about it. But I did do a bunch of really quick sketches and then sent them off to Tim, just photographed them. So this is kind of the mudroom idea. And if you can see that little roof type of shape, that would be just a rough sense of a roof, of an elongated raised roof with no sides to go over the trailer, and then this mudroom would go up close enough to the trailer but not touching it. They're all separate buildings or structures, and then you can see there's two doors marked, three. One which would be the door I enter in and leave, and the other two would be door openings that would line up with the doors of the trailer. So they actually would be higher up than they're marked, because the trailer is off the ground, the height of the tires, wheels, and stuff. And then I'd have to build little steps that go up to it. But it'd be kind of neat. It'd be sort of like a sunken living room with a fireplace in it. So that's that aspect. And then here is kind of how I imagine it would look from behind the I keep calling it a mud room, for that little room where I'm going to put the fireplace. It would sit close to and beside the trailer, and the trailer would be under this roofed area, and otherwise you could walk right around the trailer and stuff. And then here is a better sort of three-dimensional view of the trailer inside of this roofed area, and then a little sort of shed-like structure on the side, and that would be where I'd enter. Also, that way I don't open up a door directly to the trailer and let all the cold come in. I mean, all that would take is one door opening for the whole trailer to go cold. So this way I can walk in, wait for a moment even for get the wood stove going, wait for that to heat up, then open the door to the trailer and, give it a boost of heat. And at least then I can kind of live in a slightly enlarged space and then visit the barn whenever I want to visit. Oh, and here is just a measurement of the roof from above. So there, those are sent over to Tim. He'll probably be working on it tomorrow morning. What else is going on? My dog Tor has, I won't call it an infected ear. He just has there was probably a bunch of bugs biting him. Black flies, I would guess, more than mosquitoes. Or, you know what? Deer flies, horse flies, sometimes they can just keep going at one place. And if I don't catch it, that could have also been it. So I noticed in his ear a few days ago that there was a lot of dry blood. So I'm got the old saline solution and a little squirt thing for your ear, and I've been doing my best to get that in his ear, flushing his ear for a few days before I put some ointment on it. I could put some olive oil with garlic in it. I always did that when I had a sore ear, just in case he does. And then I could, just for the external part, I'll put my Touch of Healing Balm on it. So that's my plan with Tor. I checked Khaleesi's ears, they're fine. My glasses, oh my god. When Kristen Dennis was here, when Raven was still around, and that was such a magical time. That sort of afternoon that he and his wife spent with us, and Kristen did a whole ceremony with the pipe and everything. He explained how he made the pipe and when he made it and the symbolism, and it was just really meaningful. It was very healing. I don't know what it is about that. That's probably the best gift ever. And he noticed my glasses from a distance and just said, "Hey, can I?" Oh no, I remember now. I was talking about I love these glasses, the frames, and the way the little things fit on your nose are the most comfortable I've ever had, but yet they're not little separate plastic wiggly things. So I don't know why they don't make all glasses like this, because they are exceptional. These were made in Japan. And anyway, so I was talking to Kristen about it, and I handed them to him so he could just try them on and see what they look like on him and how they feel. And then of course, it was more like he didn't see through them. And he was just like, "Oh my God." And so he, took out his little lens cleaning something or other. This is all I happen to have right now. Because I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about it. And I know people always say don't use these little packets with the paper and the alcohol in them. I don't know how bad they are. I'm sure loads of people use them on their glasses, so I'm going to this time. Never have before. And I always avoid, which is why they're always smudgy, I avoid wiping them on my shirt or something, because I've been told it wrecks the finish, and that I don't want to do. So I end up going blind, so I don't ruin my glasses. Oh my god. And I thought it was the screen. Well, I guess I could kind of wipe the screen as well. Hold on. There. Might even improve the picture if I do it over there. Okay. It's a little bit better. 25 minutes. Okay, I won't go too much further. Talisi is right on the couch there, having the best dreams ever. There. And I've got a little teeny heater right here that I've got up at a better level, and it is helping quite a bit. Try not to move the tripod while I move my leg there. So crazy world we live in, and yet I don't know what that AFL thing is, but hopefully you don't see it. It's a circle over on the side saying AF-L. But yeah, crazy times we live in. And even though I have these, I just want to be clear, even though I have these difficult waves of emotion, and I won't lie, sometimes when I'm consumed by an intense wave of emotions, sometimes I can be haunted by negative thought patterns about anything, about Raven's discomfort and struggle while she was in her last 6 months, about, could I have done something better, about the state of the world, all kinds of things will rush into my head. And I'll use the term haunt because normally I have a much stronger way of dealing with thoughts and a lot clearer, whereas when I'm compromised like that, they tend to get in a little bit more, and I'm a little bit more in a battle with them, if it's gonna happen at all. So that's when I just do my best to open my heart, not entertain those thoughts, and just feel rather than think. There's this crazy tendency to want to think our way through things, and for sure in accounting it can help, although I think feeling still would be important. I think many good accountants would mention that and agree with me, but I find feeling in a sense from the heart, like loving, open, warm, loving, like you've just lit a nice wood stove, a fireplace, that only emotional heat, and just that's what I open up and pour onto my feelings, or pour my feelings into it. It's kind of hard. Just free float. Allow stuff to be immersed in such a loving, open-hearted state. That's my aim. And most of the time, instantly I start to tear up, and there's that emotional connection that goes right to the tear ducts. And in that sense, I think most of you know that feeling where there's, like, you have tears come, and it's easy to try and avoid, but when it does come, it actually has there's something in the chest and diaphragm that releases, and then you get your tears and stuff as well. I find that, although easy to try and avoid at first, is actually quite comforting once it starts to flow. So I welcome that, and when I work with clients, I used to always avoid looking them in the eye when they were feeling emotional for fear of making them uncomfortable, and quite often in that case, them crying, and therefore me thinking they felt uncomfortable. Whereas in, I'd say, the last 8 to 10 years, I gained an awareness that if I can overcome my fear of making them uncomfortable, which makes me uncomfortable, they actually benefit a great deal from being released. And if I can have an ability to trigger that, then all the better. Isn't that amazing? But I realized actually I was uncomfortable myself, and didn't want to make them uncomfortable and me uncomfortable. So I will knowingly now, when someone's at that breaking point, hold eye contact, which usually will, well, with a loving eye contact, like you care, almost guaranteed the person will release. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We shy away from these moments because they're unknown. We don't know, that's the whole idea of a blazing a trail, is we are creating a map of uncharted territory. It's interesting. I don't know if anyone knows, but I wanted to be a map maker when I was young. In some kind of science-y type high school class, geography, I guess. We had an assignment for making a map. I think it was grade 11 or something. We had an assignment to make a map, and of course I got right into it, and I got right into the little elevation lines. And I mean, I made a treasure map, really, although I didn't have a treasure on it. It was more of that. And I loved doing it so much that when it was time to go to college, I got out of Katimavik and I enrolled in cartography, which included photogrammetry as well. But I dropped out after a couple of months because I realized quite quickly that it was nothing like what I was interested in. It was interesting. I did a little bit of surveying and stuff as well, but even the photogrammetry, where you had those little viewing screen things with a certain distance from the map, and you had two photos of an aerial view, and it would give you the three-dimensional effects, but you had to let your eyes go cross-eyed, and that was very painful. So I can't imagine doing that for a lifetime. But I tried it, and now, of course, I know why I was interested in that. And here we are, talking about the need to make our own maps, and that's what I've been marking every stage of what I'm going through, of, I could say, what Raven and I are going through. I mentioned this in other videos, for example, the Phoenix mailbox has a strong symbolism, and it had to go up. I mean, it had to go up for practical reasons, but it also had to go up because I was marking that time, and I didn't want to go up way after the time that it was marking. So it's kind of like breadcrumbs, leaving a breadcrumb trail. In our forest, it would be getting fluorescent plastic tape and tying little bits onto branches so that you don't lose your way, and then you can find your way back, that sort of thing. I feel like that is imperative on my journey, for myself and for others. It's hard to explain. It's a feeling, but it's like I guess with the GPS metaphor, it'd be like the metal bar that would be staked into the ground during a surveying project by the survey team. And that spike can be found by anyone with the proper tools later on to know exactly where that little point is on the ground relating to the map. And I would say that's pretty well kind of sort of what I'm doing. Intuitively. Because I even know such a mundane thing as from the trauma of Raven passing, just the stress of running around doing a million things, my short-term memory is so shot, which also makes things difficult. And I talked to my mother about it, and she said she couldn't even turn on her computer when she was at work when her dad died. And she'd turned on her computer every day of work for, probably 15, 20 years. So I know it's just a short-term thing. It's inconvenient. I have to write a lot of things down. But it made me think about blazing a trail and how it would be of great advantage to find ways to mark the journey. Now I'm creating my videos as well, but these are it's a different kind of more GPS type of marking for navigation purposes. This is kind of more processing, I would say. Everything that I want to do, that we want to do at Nomad Village with the Nomad Portal, is we want to create a feeling like you've walked into a beautifully enchanted children's book kind of forest. And there are magical beings, and you feel energetically supported in your healing process just naturally. There's no intent needed. You just, by being there, you just start to heal. And heal wherever healing is needed. It's like an intelligence on this land that's developing that will just do what it needs to do. So imagine that as the backdrop for the soul print healing. Imagine that environment, which I didn't really describe much. It's going to have little huts that would also go along with that storybook style and feel. Hopefully each one would be different, so there would be an adventure in your little hut, finding your little hut. If it's winter, stoking up the wood stove and getting it nice and warm, and you would actually be a part of a children's storybook kind of feel. And Raven wanted it so that just by walking the trails, you're healing. You just lose yourself in some process. So I want to make all this happen. So there'll be little huts. Eventually there'll probably be some kind of community center building where all events happen, yoga. It would be, people could rent it for their own events and bring their own people. Workshops, yoga retreats, whatever. As mundane as you'd want or as exciting as you'd want. Although, people would be choosing it because of what is here and what is unique. And then in the barn, it will be my workshop. I should say our workshop, because I intend to have artists coming ongoingly and have like an artist in residence kind of thing, where then they can display their art, people can come by and visit, so on. So there, in the barn, there would be a workshop area. There'd be a gallery at the front, a tattoo studio, although I do like the idea of a tattoo studio being in a separate building. But I think it would be important to have a little tattoo studio here just as a backup, so that if, say, in a really cold, blustery winter day, we don't feel like going over and setting up over there.